This is Ask a Couples Counsellor, a show that answers all the relationship questions you're too afraid to ask. On the show, we'll take your questions and give you the tools you need to build trust and intimacy with your partner. I'm your host, Neha Kapoor. I'm a registered clinical counsellor and psychotherapist, and I'm really passionate about helping couples navigate the challenges that we all go through. Because after all, every relationship encounters some stormy weather now and then. Knowing when to say goodbye. In this episode, we delve into the complexities of relationships and explore the tough question, how do you know when it's time to call it quits? We'll discuss the signs that might indicate it's time to consider ending a relationship and explore the various reasons why couples break up. Join me as we navigate the delicate balance between holding on and letting go. All right, let's get into it. Our first question for the day comes from Sarah in Sydney. And Sarah's question is, how do you know when to call it quits in a relationship? What a great question, Sarah. Don't we all want to know when to call it quits in a relationship? Look, knowing when to end a relationship can be challenging. It's very important to assess your own feelings and the overall health of the relationship to make the best decision for yourself. Okay, so here are some signs that might indicate that it's time to consider ending a relationship. One of them being constant unhappiness or feeling unfulfilled despite efforts to address concerns. So if your efforts to communicate and resolve issues consistently leads to the same negative feelings, it's essential to evaluate whether the relationship is genuinely meeting your needs and bringing you happiness. It's important to prioritize your own well-being and consider whether staying in the relationship aligns with your long-term happiness and fulfillment. Another sign could be lack of trust or frequent betrayals of trust. So lack of trust and frequent betrayals of trust are serious issues in any relationship because trust is the foundation of a healthy and strong relationship. And without it, the relationship can become toxic and unsustainable. So if trust has repeatedly been broken and efforts to rebuild it have been unsuccessful, it may be a sign that the relationship is no longer healthy or viable. So it's crucial to consider whether you can truly forgive and trust your partner again, and whether staying in the relationship is in your best interest. One of the reasons that I see quite commonly is persistent communication issues or inability to resolve conflicts constructively. So persistent communication issues or an inability to resolve conflicts constructively can create ongoing tensions and frustrations in a relationship. Effective communication and conflict resolution are vital for maintaining a healthy and harmonious connection with your partner. If you find that communication breakdowns and unresolved conflicts are a constant source of stress and unhappiness in your relationship, it may be a sign that the relationship is not meeting your needs. And it's important to assess whether both you and your partner are willing and able to work on improving communication and conflict resolution skills, or if the relationship is better off ending for the well-being of both parties. One of the main issues is fundamental differences in values, goals, or life paths that cannot be reconciled. So when there are fundamental differences in values, goals, or life paths that cannot be reconciled, it can be a significant reason to consider ending a relationship. It's essential to be aligned with your partner on core aspects of your life, such as values, long-term goals, and the direction you both want to take. If there are irreconcilable differences in these areas, it can lead to ongoing conflict, resentment, and dissatisfaction. In such cases, it may be necessary to reevaluate the relationship and consider whether staying together is truly in the best interest of both individuals involved. Another factor that could be a sign is emotional or physical abuse, manipulation, or toxicity. So emotional or physical abuse, manipulation, or toxicity are clear signs that a relationship is unhealthy and potentially dangerous. It's very crucial in that situation to prioritize your safety and your well-being above all else. So no one deserves to be in a situation where they're being mistreated or harmed. So if you're experiencing any form of abuse or toxicity in your relationship, it's essential to seek help and support from trusted friends, family members, or professionals. Ending the relationship may be the best course of action to protect yourself and move forward in healthier, happier ways. The other thing that I say is trust your instincts, right? Your intuition often knows what's best for you, even when it's difficult to acknowledge. If you consistently feel unhappy, unfulfilled, or uneasy in the relationship, it's important to listen to those feelings and consider whether staying is truly in your best interest. Ending a relationship can be challenging, but prioritizing your own well-being and happiness is paramount. Trust yourself to take the right decision for your future. And I hope that answers your question, Sarah. All right, let's get into our next question for today's episode. This question was submitted by Reagan in Sydney. And Reagan's question is, why do couples break up? I think that's a great question, Reagan. Why do couples break up? Look, there's various reasons. One of the reasons why I see why couples break up is because of incompatibility. So differences in values, goals, or lifestyles, which can lead to conflicts that are difficult to resolve. So that's one of the reasons why couples break up. Another is communication issues. So poor communication or lack of effective communication can create a lot of misunderstanding and resentment in a relationship. And that often leads couples to feel that there's no way forward. So they do tend to end the relationship in that situation. Another one is trust issues. This is a big one, and I see it a lot in my room. It's infidelity, dishonesty, or breaches of trust that can erode the foundation of the relationship. So trust is the foundation of any relationship. And once it's been eroded, it's very difficult to rebuild trust. It takes a lot of commitment, time, and effort from both parties to be able to work on that relationship. So trust issues is one of them. Another that I do see is growing apart. So people change over time, and sometimes couples realize that they no longer share common interests or goals. This is especially true for some couples that have been together a long period of time. So they're not growing together, but they're growing apart. So they feel that there's no way forward. And another one that I do see is lack of emotional connection. So decline in intimacy or emotional connection can lead to feelings of loneliness or dissatisfaction. Couples may feel that, they've got no other option but to break up. Another one is external stresses. So financial problems, work-related stresses, or family conflicts can strain the relationship and lead to a breakup. There's also unresolved conflicts. So persistent disagreements or unresolved issues can create ongoing tension and dissatisfaction, leading couples to eventually end the relationship. Then there's abuse and toxicity, which is the worst. So emotional, verbal, or physical abuse, as well as manipulative behavior, can lead to the end of a relationship because it puts partners at risk. And then there's loss of attraction. So physical attraction is a really important part of a relationship. That's what distinguishes any romantic relationship from just a friendship. And if it fades, it can lead to a breakup. Then there's different priorities. So one partner may want to prioritize the relationship differently, leading to feeling of neglect and imbalance. So sometimes that leads to a breakup. You've been listening to Ask a Couples Counsellor, a show that answers all the relationship questions you're too afraid to ask. This show is produced by Novo Empower Counselling. We provide a range of services, including couples counselling, individual counselling, and online counselling. To find out more, visit our website novoempowercounselling.com.au. This show was produced with strategy and production support from Wavelength Creative. To make sure you don't miss an episode of Ask a Couples Counsellor, be sure to subscribe to or follow the show in your podcast app. And while you're there, I'd love it if you could leave me a 5-star review. It really helps others find the show. I'm your host, Neha Kapoor, and I'll see you in the next episode.